Hello there from my new headquarters, the Rosy Glow hot tub. How you doing? Rosanna here, Rosy Glow. And I just wanted to do a little bit of a video here about co-creation and what co-creation is, who we're co-creating with, because I talk a lot about it. And if you don't know already, I have a new online program which is going on just for 6 weeks, starting on the 31st of July, called Co-Creation Success. And that's where we go into the nitty-gritty of all of this and how to support you to actually start to co-create the reality that you want to, rather than the one that you're experiencing, if what you're experiencing isn't quite what you would like to be experiencing. There's more to it than the law of attraction. We talked about that yesterday, and I really just wanted to start to fill in the blanks for you. So, first of all, what does it mean to co-create your reality? Well, we're all co-creating our reality. Some of us are conscious of it and some of us are not. Hello there, Shamin. And what that actually entails is the fact that what we expect of life, somehow we are seeing evidence of. There are over 7 billion people on this planet. We weren't all born into the same conditions, and the conditions that we were born into tend to develop an expectation of what life is like. So, you know, if we came into life and we had a bit of an easy time, even our birth was easy, and everything we needed was kind of brought our way, then we have this expectation that things come easily. If we were born into a life of struggle, then generally we have the expectation that life is hard. So I'm just giving you a very rough example there of how just our conditioning, our experience of what we've come into actually affects how we co-create. But co-creating is shaping your reality through your expectation of what's going to happen. And what that does is it creates a filter, and it's not that the reality changes, it's that the way you respond to the environment changes and the reality changes, and as a result you get a different experience back. I'll give you the example. I've got my rosy coloured glasses on, right? These tint the colours around me with a little rosy glow, and I like that because that kind of helps me to see things in a positive light. Now, I know people who are self-confessed pessimists, so they will always focus on the negative on the basis that if they focus on it and they worry about it, then they're going to stop it happening because they've put enough energy into the fact that they've stressed about it that it shouldn't have to materialise. That's their logic, right? And that might be the case, that what they fear happens doesn't actually happen, but in the meantime they've stressed themselves out so much that their mindset is generally negative. They're in a high stress alert state most of the time, and they're not much fun to be around. They're the worrywarts. They're the people you're like, oh, I've got to go and see them. Oh, it's tough having a conversation with them. They really just don't flow. Equally, you know what it's like to be around people that just shine their light, and they tend to always be proactive. They tend to have solutions to issues. There's always some kind of suggestion or positivity. Even if they say nothing, they're just sort of emanating a light that's really positive. And that in itself is something that helps you to see things in a different way. And there are lots of people like me who are coaches out there who support people to make that shift. But the essential understanding to take is that all of us are co-creating our reality. Some of us are doing it consciously because we're setting intentions about what we want to bring into our life, what we want our life to feel like on a day-to-day basis, how we want to approach the struggles, the challenges that all human beings have on this experience, this life experience, but how to actually work with those things that come up in such a way where we create win-win situations for everybody. We look to grow, to heal. We're positive, solution-orientated, constructive. You get the picture. There's this kind of element of seeking to be a part of what is going on around you and realizing that you are influencing it. That's a conscious co-creator, someone that will look at what's happening and not go, oh, life's just shitting on me. Oh, it's just a bad day today. Oh, don't know what's up with them and with them, without actually looking inward at themselves. The more unconscious co-creator is more as I have just described to you. So it's kind of like our experience of life is very much mirrored by the mass media, by the collective consciousness. We tend to, if you can imagine that all of the institutions that are basically governing this planet are kind of, they put everybody in a position where we have an external authority rather than internal authority guiding us. And as a result of that, we become embroiled in this triangle of victim, persecutor, and rescuer. And so all of our services are rescue services. You know, the way that we go about being philanthropic is rescuing. And I'm not suggesting that there aren't people who are in dire need of being rescuing. If you've had a big event go on and you need to get to safety, then of course you need rescuing, right? But we're talking about how we go about living our lives and how we go about supporting others. Do we empower others to be able to feel that they can manage their own lives and actually to get on top of it? Or are we constantly handing out, and in the handing out, not supporting people to move into strength? So I invite you just to even think about that in terms of when I say to you, who are you co-creating with? Well, you could just take that drama triangle. You could just take the rescuer mentality, the persecutor mentality, or the victim mentality, because all of them are part of an unconscious program that is running collectively across the developed world and the developing world. It's the fight, flight, freeze response that we are in mass populace. There are very few places in the world that aren't there, but they do exist. So who you're co-creating with also, that's part of the collective unconscious, if you like, that's a program that runs through for everybody. We have our own individual unconscious or subconscious programming. So I talk about this a lot, but it starts from even our conception. Even, you know, the sort of quality of the egg and the sperm that makes us is down to the state of the mother and the father's health, stress levels, lifestyle choices from 4 months prior to when the egg is actually fertilized, and the sperm that is fertilizing that egg is programmed from the conditions 3 to 4 months before. It's really fascinating stuff. But it's kind of like there's a time lag, but we are wired to survive our environment, and we're getting information about our environment through the genetics of those who are making us, and the cellular memory. So the time in the womb, the birth, the immediate postpartum period, the first year of life, and the first 7 years of life really compound programming. And it's down to how your parents view the world, how your culture views the world, how your society views the world, what the moral codes are, what the view is towards love, money, status, success, all the big things that we then self-reflect and go, oh, how am I doing in relation to what is expected of me? Well, who expects this of you? You know, is this your conditioning from your family, from your culture, from your religion, from your society? Or is there a part of you that you have tapped into that is wanting something different, is wanting to interact with the environment in such a way where you see opportunities for growth rather than problems constantly being faced? You see the challenges you face as an opportunity to clear within you resistance to being more in flow. You start to realise that the better it gets, and what you focus on grows. So you are choosing to start to participate. And all of that has to happen beyond this early conditioning. So I mentioned the first 7 years of life, then really we have childhood to sort of pre-adolescence, and so puberty, then the peer pressure, and then as we grow into adults, whether we become part of the crowd or we separate ourselves out. And at some point, most of us have separated ourselves out, realise it's too difficult, so we become part of the crowd again, and we just, you know, the hippie becomes the corporate, and so on and so forth, because you've got to put the food on the table. So those are external factors, but internal co-creators are basically the different voices in your head. So are you co-creating from the part of you that is positive, the part of you that believes in yourself? Are you co-creating from the timeline that you actually want to be living on, or are you co-creating from a conditioned timeline, which is how your life will go according to your conditioning, unless you actually change some of your programming, your subconscious programming, believe life can be different, and as a result experience it. Example, you come from a line of single mothers who don't have very good relationships with men. You're a woman yourself. You'd like to have a baby. Are you going to do the inner work to build a healthier relationship with yourself and therefore the opposite sex, and clear the man issues that maybe are there? Or are you going to just have a baby with the first person that is open to having a baby, and then potentially go through the same thing again, living out the patterns of your history? Because that is what we do. We do live out subconscious programs if we are not consciously co-creating our reality. And back to the voices in your head, I'll mention a few. So you have the voice of fear. The voice of fear is false expectations or emotions appearing real. So it's how you're seeing things are kind of triggering a fear response in you, but that's not actually what someone is saying or what they are thinking or what they are actually doing. You're just perceiving it a certain way because you've seen something similar in the past, and you're fearing that that's going to happen again, so you're bunching it into that experience because it's starting to look a little bit like that, and by virtue of that you're starting to create that. I know you will understand what I mean there. Equally, you are wanting to seek resolution, but every time you talk about the challenges you have in your life with your friends or people that are there to help you, you energize the negative, because you energize the frustration you're feeling. And I do that a lot. It's a very it's a very dramatic Mediterranean thing, and it's something that I have to work really consciously with, to not dramatize the negative and put too much energy in what is stressing me out, but actually just to discharge it and then look at how I can find the solution through it. What is it bringing up for me that I can then work with? Now, other voices in your head could be the victim, the you that feels like you are powerless, and actually, however hard you try, you're not going to be able to change something. You're going to need saving. You could be co-creating from the rescuer aspect of you that feels your worth is tied up in helping other people and therefore putting their needs before your own. You could be co-creating from your higher self. You could be co-creating from your superconscious. So that's the part of you that you've activated to support you to navigate in the direction you want to go. And actually, if you are starting to tap into that, which that's the work, that's what co-creation success is about, is getting you to actually co-create with that aspect of you, rather than the other voices that could be running the show if you let them. Then you can actually then also start to look at the timelines that you're on. The most optimal temporal reality would be your divine design timeline, or what I'd say your personal paradise, what you want to create for yourself. It's different for everyone. For me, my personal paradise, I'm living it right now. Okay, I can upgrade it, but I've got a hot tub, I've got sea views, I've got a lovely lighthouse. It's small, it's easy to clean, and I can just enjoy my life with my lovely cat. This for me is my personal paradise that I am cultivating, but I am fulfilled by this. This is driving me forward. Other voices in my head, I could be co-creating from the teenager in me. I could be co-creating from the self-saboteur. I could be co-creating from the judge in me, the part of me that criticizes. There are so many different aspects of you. What have we got there? Oh, I'm glad you're finding that interesting. Well, thank you. So I just wanted you to if you're listening, to just get a sense of this. When you're looking outside, I had an example the other day I shared where I was being met with unforgiveness and with doubt. And that made me understand that if I'm experiencing it in my outer world, then on some level I am subconsciously co-creating it. Because if there is an aspect of me that feels I am unforgivable, or my actions are unforgivable because of my conditioning, or that actually I can't trust how I feel, then how can someone else? So that mirror's there. And that's where it gets so fascinating, this whole co-creation idea, because it's like, well, what am I co-creating? What's showing up today? And remember that today is the result of yesterday's intentions, right? So tomorrow is the result of today's intentions. So just be very aware of that time lag, and be really patient when things are showing up for you that you don't want, because that's just part of the old conditioning. So you keep activating your superconscious to find the optimal solution right now. But remember that you're kind of building this energy. The more you go to the gym, the more you flex those muscles, right? The more you activate them, the more muscle memory there is to retain them. It's just going to take a little bit of practice, but that doesn't mean it's not fun. It is fun. What else? From that element, from the aspect of just saying, okay, I want to have fun with this. I want to participate. Then you can really start to enjoy the process of upgrading your life, okay? And particularly the areas of your life that are a challenge. Those are the areas of your life that you have come here to grow through. Those are the areas of your life that your soul has chosen certain conditions in order to be able to work those lessons through and discover what love does, discover what the healing aspect of this is, what the blueprint of success is. So ultimately, who we're co-creating with is the divine in us. When we activate our superconscious, our I am presence, we are co-creating with the God particle. The superconscious is source energy. It is the purest vibrations of love and light, that when we start to activate that in us, it grows, it fills us up. And you could literally be living next door to someone who has such a different view of life to you, and it's having a completely different experience to you in terms of quality of experience, just by virtue of the lens that you are choosing to look at life through. So change your view of the world around you changes. Set your course, and what is not in alignment with that, as in what is within you that needs to shift in your perception, in your understanding, will come up for you to then have the experience and start to build the experience you would like to have. And if you start to ask that question about who you're co-creating with, that will really help you if you're setting course all the time and you keep getting obstacles with it. Because if you're getting obstacles, you might not be co-creating with your superconscious, and it might be that you are seeking a co-creation that is more of an ego-driven co-creation, which if you dig deeper, you will discover you actually want something else, not what you think you want on the surface. So what do they say? The destination is as important as, the journey is as important as the destination. And it is true, because it's when you set sail in a certain direction that you have all the experiences you have that then make you decide whether you want to keep going in that direction or whether another direction is going to be more optimal for you. And that's all how we grow. So I hope that's answered the question, what is co-creating? It's showing up either consciously or unconsciously in the participation of your life experience. And who are you co-creating with? I've given you some ideas of who you're co-creating with. Remember that we have a personal subconscious and a collective subconscious. So on some level, we are all bumping up against the co-creations of the collective subconscious. But the more you raise your frequency, the more you clear your density, which is what you do on your pathway to co-creation and clearing and air work, which is the tools that you use, the tools I use as a coach, then you, through the raising of your frequency and anchoring that frequency, those around you, by virtue of the way you are, start to shift. And that's where that 100 monkey syndrome comes in. When you've got enough people doing things a certain way and it's new, it hits like wildfire and everybody's doing it. They don't even realise they've changed the way they do it, or the way they're thinking about it, or the way they're showing up for it, because enough people have actually made the change, the tipping point. So be one of those people. Be an acupuncture needle of light in Mother Earth, in ascending Earth Gaia, because we are here to anchor the paradise codes back on this planet. We are here to co-create peace on Earth, and peace is a transient state. If we were in it all the time, well, that's not what we're here for. We're here to learn how to co-create consciously. We're here to learn to co-create more and more what we want to co-create and less what we don't want to co-create. So if your life is more full of things you don't want rather than the things you do want, then you're co-creating from your conditioning. And if you want a way out of that, that's my co-creation success course. That's where you will learn how to start being at the helm of your beautiful vessel, wherever it is that you are going. And there'll be links very soon put in this video to direct you to that, starting the 31st of July, 6 p.m, 6 till 7 p.m, 6 weeks running. Replays will be available, so if you can't actually make it live, remember you'll get all of the resources and the opportunity for live Q&A with me. Closed Facebook group, there's loads of stuff going on. It's your entry level into all the other work I do. So if you're new to my work, then that will really support you. And in the meantime, please like my Rosy Glow Facebook page and my Rosy Glow YouTube channel, because I am planning today to do my next multidimensional Rosy Glow yoga video, and it will be about flow, clearing the blocks to flow and creating flow and focus. So that's the idea today, after I've got out of the hot tub. Lots of love for now. Take care.